Hello everyone, Neil here, back once again with another quick film review for you. And today, I am going to be taking a look at The Fabelmans. Yes, better late than never, I know. I thought I'd go out and see it, especially after the Golden Globe win for Best Director and Best Picture, in terms of, its category and all that. Now, spoiler alert, I will be spoiling this film, of course, so you've been warned. I won't spoil everything. I'm not going to talk about the whole movie, but I will talk about the main important parts of it, certainly. Now, this is a semi-autobiographical tale from Mr. Steven Spielberg, and it pretty much is his life. It's just a fictionalized version of his life, basically. If you want to see the real documentary about Steven Spielberg, watch the documentary called Spielberg. I believe it's still on Crave in Canada here, and that's the real true story. And a lot of what happens in this fictional account is obviously going to mirror reality here. So the film takes place in New Jersey in 1952, is where it begins, and the Fabelmans, Mitzi and Bert, played by Michelle Williams and Paul Dano, they take their son, Sammy, to see The Greatest Show on Earth, which is a movie about the circus. It's a classic film, which I believe is actually the same film that Spielberg went to go see, which inspired him, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's the movie where he fell in love with cinema as well. Sammy is inspired, of course, from this film. He's inspired to shoot a train crash with his model train set that he asks for Hanukkah. And he actually uses this 8mm camera that belongs to his father. This is his mother is very encouraging of this, and they shoot a fun little train crash together, and that just brought back really great memories for me of the shooting with action figures and other toys, and trains are a great thing to shoot, to do whatever you're wanting to do, if it's a crash or stop motion, whatever. Great models, great subjects to use when you're learning how to shoot. It really is up my alley and up the alley of all people that are, camera people or editors or just directors or just lovers of cinema. So yeah, that's this whole movie's about, pretty much, Now, his dad isn't quite as encouraging as his mother. He's kind of thinking like, let's just save the 8mm camera for home movies, and it's like your film career is not really a real thing that's going to happen. You can do that later maybe, but stick to the home movies with the 8mm camera. He doesn't really think it's a job to be a film director, not a realistic one. So it's just a hobby, he thinks, for his son. Now, they move around a lot. They move to Phoenix, and then they later move to California as well. In Phoenix, I should mention, who comes with them is their best friend, played by Seth Rogan. He's really great in this role as Bert's buddy Benny, and he's pretty funny in this movie. Seth Rogen is very convincing. Now they wind up in California eventually, and the situation with Sammy at school isn't great. He winds up getting bullied. There's anti-Semitic abuse going around, by at least one of the kids anyway. But the good news is that he actually starts dating this very, very Christian, devout Christian Monica, and he winds up taking her to this beach, and he shoots her using her father's 16mm camera. So now he's got a 16mm camera. He's going up in the world. Sammy also, unfortunately, discovers his mom is having an affair, and this ends up with his parents getting divorced. And then later, Monica breaks up with Sammy. So things are going so good for Sammy here. Then later on, Sammy and his dad, Bert, are living together in Hollywood, and Sammy's struggling real bad, but eventually, one day, he does get a call to work for CBS, and later on, he gets to meet and also get some advice from one of his heroes, John Ford, the legendary Hollywood director, and he's actually played by director David Lynch here. This is a very interesting cameo. And this advice, about framing, winds up reinvigorating Sammy's passion for filmmaking. And the film ends with Sammy doing his usual kind of shot that he would do, and then it kind of adjusts to do what John Ford suggests. It's like the sun doesn't have to be in the middle; it can be off to the side, like a painting, something like that. But it's an interesting way to end the film. So it's a touch long, I got to say. I mean, it is 151 minutes. There's a couple of scenes of drama that I thought were kind of like, okay, let's skip along here. But it wasn't too bad. There was no point where I was wanting to look at my phone or something. It wasn't boring at any point, really. The acting, the editing, and yes, the direction was definitely perfection. So I'm not going to be surprised if the movie gets a whole lot of Oscar attention this year. It could come across as kind of this arrogant thing, like a vanity project, like not all directors, in fact, most directors don't really get to make a movie, like a fictional, semi-fictional anyway, a movie about themselves, about their lives. But Spielberg's life has been so fascinating. Obviously, he's one of the most successful directors of all time, and he's always going to be an inspiration to all directors, I think, pretty much. So he deserves it. He deserves to, to kind of celebrate his life this way on film, I think, and share it with the world, really, the way that only he can. And he did a fantastic job here at getting the emotions, getting the passion out of the actors. And, as he always does, right? He always finds a way to get these amazing performances out of the actors and make us cry. I got a little misty-eyed here and there, especially with the mother stuff and how she was very encouraging and everything. So yeah, it hits you right in the feels. It's a really good movie all around, really. I mean, the film is about family, of course, but it's also a little bit about romance. But mainly it's about the passion for shooting film, for framing shots, for practical effects, etc., etc. And yeah, it's all for the love of movie making, right? I mean, and who doesn't love to make movies? We certainly all do on our phones these days, right? I mean, so we can pretty much all identify with, the passion here. Although it is set, initially in the 50s and everything. And I love that too. I love these period pieces, and I love the music by John Williams is fantastic. No surprise there, but yeah, it's wonderful performances. Paul Dano, who played the Riddler in The Batman earlier this year, he's a standout. Certainly, Michelle Williams as well too. I mean, I would look for, look to see some nominations here for these actors, just like the Golden Globes. But yeah, so I mean, it's a good movie. I want to see it again. I can't wait to see. I might rent it at home. Right now, it's too expensive. It's like $25 to rent it. Forget that. I'm gonna wait till the price drops. But it is worth going to the cinema if you can still do it. It's barely there anymore. Certainly, the movie did bomb at the box office. It wasn't really promoted that well, and it's not that really big of a hook for your general audiences either. You have to really be a big lover of Spielberg, a big lover of filmmaking to want to be interested in seeing this movie. So I understand why it wasn't a big hit, certainly compared to other movies that came out in December. So anyway, it is a very good movie. It's one of the best of the year. It might be the best of the year. It's arguable, certainly, but I'm going to give The Fabelmans a 9 out of 10. And I almost called it the Spielbergs, but that's pretty much what it is. You could pretty much erase it. Like Honest Trailers will do that and call it the Spielbergs instead of the Fabelmans or something, because it is just so much like Spielberg's life. It mirrors his life perfectly. So wonderful, wonderful stuff from Senior Spielbergo. All right, guys, this is Neil. Thank you so much again for tuning in to this review. And until next time, peace.